Welcome to the Editorial Introductions mini lesson. Before we start, I wanted you to compare the introductions for academic essays, which is on the left, and editorial introductions, which is on the right. So go ahead and pause this video and read both paragraphs, and as you read, think about what the differences are. When you're finished reading, go ahead and unpause this video. All right, welcome back. So on the left, you'll notice that it is all one paragraph. It kind of starts with the thesis statement here, which is, I have many similarities with my identification novel protagonist Taylor. And then it all is kind of structured in one paragraph and kind of sticks to the same topic. It's also not very conversational in voice. It sounds like this writer's writing for a teacher. Now let's take a look at the right. You'll notice already that it is set into two separate paragraphs, even though this is the introduction section, which is why I've been calling it an introduction section rather than an introduction paragraph like you would with a normal school essay. We also notice that this introduction, unlike the school essay on the left, is a little bit more conversational, and it uses the personal pronoun I a little bit more. Halloween has always been my favorite holiday. As a child, I looked forward all year to dressing up and going trick-or-treating. I still love putting on costumes and carving pumpkins. It sounds like the reader is talking directly to us. With an editorial, that's what you want. Okay, so here we have that editorial introduction example again from the article called Bite-Sized Tips for Handling Halloween Candy. And what I've done is I've underlined the transition sentence from the hook to the actual argument, and I've highlighted the thesis statement in yellow, which is at the end. Let's take a look at the first sentence in the introduction. Halloween has always been my favorite holiday. Okay, something that we notice about this hook is that the author starts by describing what she liked about Halloween. She kind of puts this scene in her head. So she's not necessarily telling a full story or an anecdote, which is a personal story, but she's creating a scene or an image in our mind so that we can remember what this connection was like. And then if you look at this underlined sentence, the first one in the second paragraph, but as much as I love the holiday, it also has its share of detractors, so things that make it not so great. This sentence is crucial to transitioning from the scene in your head about loving Halloween to then moving on for how to combat childhood obesity with a holiday that's kind of all about eating candy. Let's take a look at another article. For a real kick in the teeth, look at U.S. soccer. So go ahead and again, pause this video, read this introduction section, and then when you unpause, we'll talk about it. All right, welcome back again. So this article's introduction has 4 paragraphs rather than just 2 or even 1. And you'll notice that the first section up here, in sports some losses are worse than others, much worse, that's just 2 sentences. And unlike planting a scene in your head, this author starts off in a really dramatic way, right? Some losses are terrible, very terrible. That repetition of the word worse already makes it seem really extreme. And then the author kind of goes on to talk about the Washington Nationals' loss to the Chicago Cubs. And you'll notice that the author sticks to this for 2 paragraphs, even though we can tell from the headline that the article is actually about U.S. soccer. It's not about baseball at all. And that's because the author wants you to connect these 2 losses, which were very big for both fans. The Nats, were very close to making the World Series, but as the article states, or the introduction states, they were evenly matched, and they'll have next year to play in the World Series. But then the U.S. men's national soccer team not qualifying for the World Cup is a disaster for the program. And so the author setting up these 2 comparisons really allows you to see how terrible that loss is. So that's another way that you can introduce. You can make a connection, particularly for your editorial. You can make a connection to an event in history or an event in current times that would really show the extreme nature of what you're trying to argue. All right, and the last one that we're going to look at is an article about Moana. So again, go ahead and pause the video, read it, and then unpause it when you're finished. Okay, so this article, Disney embraces culturally aware and diverse casting in Moana. You'll notice that the thesis statement, unlike the previous two editorial introduction sections, it actually comes closer to the beginning. The way that this author hooks you is doing something similar to what the previous soccer article did by being kind of extreme or mysterious, but doesn't make a comparison. When Disney's Moana hits theaters in November, it will feel different to many moviegoers for an unusual reason. Already, the author's kind of made it seem mysterious. Well, what's different about this Disney movie? There have been so many movies. And so this makes the reader actually want to read beyond just that first sentence. All right, I hope you feel confident to write those editorial introduction sections, and please let me know if you have any questions.